your mind changes, your life will never change.
Did you know that your thoughts hold the master key to the life that you desire? Just think about it. If you want to change your life, you must change the way you think. Did you also know that experience is not the best teacher, but wisdom is?
I am so excited to be bringing to you my latest book. I'm calling it Think on These Things.
In his new book, Bishop Allen has put together a collection of power thoughts, insights, perspectives, and practical applicable wisdom drawn from his exciting years of experience. Inside the book, you will find deep insights on the power of purpose, integrity, self-leadership, excellence, the power of the mind, among others.
Truth is a universal commodity. Wherever it is applied, it produces the same results.
Don't let what you've done hinder you. Don't you let where you've been hinder you. Don't let what they've said hinder you. Don't you let your past hinder you. You're a woman without limits. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Woman without limits. Yes, you are. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. There's nothing the enemy can do to stop what God has for you. You're a woman without limits. Woman, 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 woman without limits. Na 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 na. Woman without limits. Oh my goodness, this is, we can, like I say,
Wow.
we can never finish this even in 6 weeks.
It's true. Wow.
We are right back. You're watching Woman Without Limits. We are with Jeremy Kiuna together with Dr. Susan. I tell you, we are dealing with this thing. We are taking this bull by the horns. The Lord spoke to me and said, I want you to deal with the inner man. And he said, at this Daughters of Zion convention, I want you to get all the men and women. Don't just get women alone. Get the men too. Because there are so many that are dealing with depression, trauma. There are so many that are dealing with diverse situations in their lives and they're just unable to move. And God said he wants to bring a healing. This is a convention of healing. Your inner man has got to be healed, because when your inner man is healed, you're strong enough to face tomorrow. You can overcome any situation. There is nothing too big for God, but you got to allow him to heal your inner man so that you can overcome any hurdle. Right now, there's so many. I read in the papers the other day that 70 men in is it Nyahururu had killed themselves because of depression.
Yeah, there was that feature.
Yeah, because men don't talk.
You can count the graves. You know, we have the Daughters of Zion Congress, but are men also welcome?
They are actually, you know what, this year round, the
Yes.
men are welcome for the Daughters of Zion Convention. They're
Yes,
actually
yeah.
registering
All right.
because there are so many men that are depressed.
Oh, yes.
But you know, men don't talk.
Yeah.
And it gets worse because they are not talking.
That's true.
Isn't
And they
it?
harm other people, they harm their loved ones, and they cannot understand why they're doing that. Just come and let's talk about it during the convention. Because the ones that have also like harmed their wives, they have harmed their children, and later on maybe they are arrested and they are in jail, and you listen to their stories, because we do visit them.
Right.
You realize it is the inner child that is still ruling. It is not the man. It is not the father. It is not the husband. It is the inner child.
The inner child.
The inner child throws tantrums. An adult would not do that. A parent that you're supposed to be when you're over 18 years, you know, it's like you're commissioned to start taking care of other people. So you are required to be a parent, to be a nurturer. If you find yourself finishing other people, even if it's through talk, even if it's through frustrating their efforts, just to know it's the inner child in you that was wounded and needs to heal.
That needs to heal.
Oh, yes.
You said something very powerful about Jeremy.
Yes.
And you said that being brought up in that cover, in that protection, in that love,
Yeah.
helped him
So
to
much.
overcome.
And when he needed now to shape his identity, which is the most critical stage, the teenage or the adolescent stage, where you're reasoning, who is Jeremy? Even if you told him all the nice things, gave him all the best, that inner being starts asking, who am I? Who will I be? What do I want to do? And that's why I'm saying congrats to your husband when he said, we have to let him go.
Yeah.
You don't have to take your child far away like you did with Jeremy.
Yeah.
But parents need to know that is the time to start releasing freedom, but with responsibility.
Right.
So don't run away from your teen.
Yeah.
Because even Jeremy's friend, if we had deeper interactions, there was a lot of woundedness that came from where he came from.
That caused him to kill himself.
Oh, yes. So you can imagine if you're having wounded parents, and here they wound you, and you're not aware, you'll also give the same to the world.
Oh my God. Oh my, this thing, Dr. Susan, is too deep.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna deal with it every
Oh, yes.
morning session.
Oh,
We're
yes.
gonna deal with it at the Daughters of Zion
Yes.
Convention,
Yes.
because it's ridiculous. If somebody is healed inside,
Oh, yes.
they become a healer
Oh, yes.
to others.
Oh, yes.
You only give what you have.
That's it.
So if you're insecure inside, that's what you will
you give, yeah?
If you're hurt inside, that's what you will give. You know, they say hurting people hurt others.
Oh, yes, it's true.
If you're hurting inside, you're going to be
That's right.
a hurter of others. That's what happens. If you're joyful inside,
Oh, yeah.
that's what is going to emanate from you. So it's as a man is on the inside, that's what you issue
To other people.
to the world.
Yes.
And so we're going to minister and bring a healing
Oh, yes.
to the
oh, yes.
inner man.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Dr. Susan.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very
We will
much.
do that,
Yeah.
and I believe with the great partnership that we have started,
Yes.
we're going to make a difference and make God smile from heaven.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. Amen. A quick one for you. How did you get into this?
Look at this one. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up like Jeremy, comfort, luxury, everything up to the age of 8. And my own dad developed mental illness, the depression that I'm healing today. And it was so severe that he couldn't work anymore. So I saw my loving dad, the greatest guy I ever knew in the world, move from being that to becoming a vegetable. And what followed in the family, my mom had 8 children. I'm the 5th born in a family of 8. 2 are dead, now we're 6. And I believe today, because this is what I teach, I was depressed in high school, Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, until I realized that I needed to wake up and probably do something to make my mom smile. And so I woke up from a deep slumber and I started reading hard and I passed to University of Nairobi. When I went to University of Nairobi to study education, one of the units is developmental psychology. And I started seeing myself there. And again, I can still track I had those signs and symptoms, because I always used to dress in black, and I'm not saying you're depressed because you're in black, but I always dressed in black. And now I know about colors in our moods and all that. And I would miss lots of lectures, but because God had given me the brains, I still made it through university. But afterwards, I had so many other issues that took me back to that wounded child that became so insecure, that missed my father, Like I missed my father for so many years. And when I started doing counseling, I told myself, how many fathers will go like my dad, the way he did? As I watched, I said, no, I want to start doing something, first for myself, Because the talking that you're talking about, I did it for 2 years, talking about me. You can imagine so many years of woundedness from 8 years to the age of 30. And I did not know I still carried that wounded inner child. And I'm not the vocal person, but I believe I had so many people along the way. Like shutting up, not talking to them, and probably they need me to talk to them. But I don't know. I coiled, you know? Because there was a lot of rejection because of my dad's mental illness. There was a lot of stigma and discrimination. Yes, a lot of it. Because when you're a little child and you don't know what your father is suffering from, and they are telling you, you know, your dad is Mwenda, and you go ask, you know what is Mwenda? They tell you your dad is Mogoro, you know, and you're like, what is that? And you start thinking that's gonna be you. And there's no one explaining to you that you're not going to be like that. Actually, I had so many of my siblings get into drugs. I'm the only one in the entire family that never tasted drugs. Entire family. Yes, and the only one in the entire family that made it through high school to university and where I am. So you can imagine the job I've had for the many years is to heal those wounded children.
Oh
And I'm just a fifth born, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't complain because I am one person who says my verse is Romans 8:28. All
Amen.
things work
together for good.
So I have meaning for everything that has happened to me. And so even counseling for me, I say, is a ministry. The business, one of the biggest businesses that I have today is to empower the boy child. So I'm actually planting very many gender exponents clubs in schools for boys.
Wow.
Because why do you think the girls need to know how to make their beds straight and all that, be neat? Why not the boy? Because when you train them to do that, you're also helping them to balance the brain. And you're empowering them to actually take care of themselves in case of anything.
Right.
So I have a story where I'm coming from,
Wow.
what I have also encountered. And one amazing breakthrough in my life. I had a student, because I was a high school student for many years, committed suicide, and I was the class teacher. So as I shared with Jeremy, I was telling him the way you felt guilty is the same way I once felt, and I was a grown-up woman.
Oh.
He committed suicide. He was the brightest in class, and I kept asking myself, how couldn't I see it? And this is a message I'm also spreading to all teachers. Don't kill a child that is already killed from where they're coming from.
Hey, my God, my God, my God, my God, my God.
You know, first it started with the joke. First it started with one joke, then leading to another joke. Then it started getting more offensive. Like, somebody would say something, and then I would say something back. Then, you know, because I was always very, you know, I'm a funny guy, so I love to make people laugh. So, like, people would say something, and then it would get more offensive. Like, someone would say, oh, you walk like this. You walk like a horseman, a character from Narnia who walks like half human, half horse. Or, oh, you walk like this, you know, different person. Or you walk like a horse. Or you walk like and then they would, you know, blame me also on my looks. Like, they would be like, oh, you're not beautiful, you're very ugly, you know, you shouldn't get a lot of, you know, you bought all your fans, all the people that love you, you bought them all, like, you don't have real fans, all the people you bought, like, you know. So I'm like, dang, like, this is negative now, like, this is negative life. So for me, I had to, like, one of the things that played also a big role is that I had to, like, depend on God to keep me, like, stable, because, like, I almost lost it. And then on top of that, I would call, like, you and Dad and like all my closest friends to actually help me out, because that's when I realized, like, who are my real friends and who are not my real friends. Like, that's when I realized who is real and who is not. So, like, now is when, like, I really depended on, like, real friends and family to help me out and stuff. But for the people who don't have that support, like I feel like the best thing you can do for the person who doesn't have that support is first of all pray. Second of all, you should definitely reach out to a friend. If you don't have no, like, try to find someone to talk to, because someone to talk to really helps out. And then, like, third of all, read your knowledge, grow your knowledge. Because for me personally, the smartest thing is up here, not down here. So a lot of people like go for fist and try to fight, then try to use their brains. Because if you use your brains, like the people who talk trash about you, 10 years from now, you're not going to see them. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, if you use your head, like, you could just be richer than them, be better than them, than up here than down here, you know? So that's one of the reasons I had to, like, keep myself straight. And also, like, praying and everything kept me stable, yeah.
Until your mind changes, your life will never change.
Did you know that your thoughts hold the master key to the life that you desire? Just think about it. If you want to change your life, you must change the way you think. Did you also know that experience is not the best teacher, but wisdom is?
I am so excited to be bringing to you my latest book. I'm calling it Think on These Things.
In his new book, Bishop Allen has put together a collection of power thoughts, insights, perspectives, and practical applicable wisdom drawn from his exciting years of experience. Inside the book, you will find deep insights on the power of purpose, integrity, self-leadership, excellence, the power of the mind, among others.
Truth is a universal commodity. Wherever it is applied, it produces the same results.
If anybody misses this Daughters of Zion convention, they will not blame anyone.
It's true.
Because
Yeah.
the whole nation
Oh, yes.
needs to find their way
Oh, yes.
to the convention. This
It's
is
true.
going to be a healing convention.
Oh, yes.
We're going to talk. We're going to iron out issues. Nobody needs to go to the grave
No.
in depression. Nobody.
And go with a lot of gifts for the world.
Yes.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
Jeremy's friend had many good things, but now nobody has benefited.
Yeah. He died like that.
If I also sunk deep into depression like my dad, because finally he died, right? He was an amazing man.
Oh.
So whenever I'm with men alone, I tell them I'm happy when you cry. I wish I saw my dad cry because I would know he's healing. But I never saw my dad cry at any one moment. And because I have done a lot of his history, tracking, I have told my siblings, none of you should die of depression. None of you should use drugs to cover depression. And I have seen the fruits.
Amen.
Because we were taught about church, you are taught about God, but along the way, what is it that does not add up? My dad was also a highly wounded child. And the worst that can happen in relationships is to meet someone who is equally wounded.
Who will heal the other?
None. Actually, the woundedness doubles.
Let me give you a little a story, because this makes a lot of sense.
Oh, yes.
My husband
Yes.
came from that child
Yes.
who was completely wounded
Yes.
because his parents, I'm
Yes.
talking about your dad, fought the father beat the mother every day. And he would come and tell her, I'm beating you. And she would beg, please don't beat me today. And he would still end up beating her in spite of the begging. My husband was traumatized. He says from the age of birth to 10 years old, when now they separated ways, he would shake. And they had a double bed, the double deckers? So there were two sleeping up and, So he would shake. The whole house, because it was just one room, would quake because of the shaking, because of fear. Fear, complete fear. I mean, he would wet the bed until late, teenage, late, because of fear. because of that trauma. Because he knew that the father would beat the mom. So he was always so, until one day at 8 years old, eight guys, 8, he told the mother, let's kill this man. And then now listen to the wisdom. We killed this man and then we ran to Nakuru. Nakuru was the farthest he could think of, that nobody can catch them.
Yeah.
So let's just, how can an 8-year-old
Think like that.
come up with that? Like, let's kill this man and run. Where am I coming from? Fast forward to, I've now met him. We are about to get married. I'm looking at him and thinking, okay, sir, what is it? because we go like, because I've grown up with an amazing father, loving. He built confidence in me. My father always told me I was very beautiful. And of course I believed him.
Oh, yes.
So,
And he's not wrong.
you know, he always told me I was very beautiful, and he was loving. My father was absolutely loving. My father would call me to tell me I love you. I just called to say I love you. I'm like, Daddy, oh, I mean, we were tight. So Dad was not just a father, he was a friend. You know, very, very loving. So I've grown up in that kind of background. Then I'm meeting this man who has no idea what I'm so of course I'm taking him, like we'd go to parties. I'm seeing him just in a corner. So he's just watching us.
The kid in him comes out.
He's just watching us. He will say not a word. He'll watch us. So I would go and ask him, honey, are you okay? I'm telling you, there is no minute I didn't ask him, are you okay? Okay, what's going on? He says, I'm fine. Just go. Just talk. You know, he would say, I'm enjoying when you're talking. So now I realized it was insecurity.
Oh, yes.
The little boy would come up.
Yeah.
He's like,
Automatically.
he's like, what do I say? Look at this ones, the way they're talking loudly and laughing. What? I have nothing to put on the table. What do I say? So this is where I was going to. That having been secure in my upbringing, I didn't have that in me. I was able to help him.
Good.
And I kept telling him, honey, you're all that and a bag of chips are deep on the side. You're bigger than the biggest. What? You can do the same way I built Jeremy. I built this boy. You know, I put stairs on him. Now he's at KICC.
The big.
So, Dr. Susan, I was saying this to say,
Oh, yes.
based on the fact that God put us together from two different backgrounds, I was able to help him.
Yes. You are a buffer.
And it's not a secret. He tells everybody.
Oh, he talks about it.
Yes. I was able to tell him, look, honey, you have something to say. You say it. I don't care who's here. Because, you know, we would meet all the big shots and, you know, would go to their parties and stuff like that. And so he would be very intimidated. He would be very insecure. He won't say a word. But I was able to bring him out and let him know there are people like you. There are people like you. You don't need to fear anything. You don't. So what I'm saying is that, isn't it important? Because you said something, that when two people are all here, who's going to help the other?
It will be worse. You can imagine if you are blessed with children. Now they are worse than you. And it's good that we be talking about both depression and trauma, because trauma can also hit you at any one time. Something happens in your life, like for him, it was traumatic.
Right.
Because a traumatized person behaves the way he was behaving. You have hyper arousal. So a small trigger, like an imagination, my dad is coming, he's gonna beat my mom, the whole body reacts. And so you might find some people losing their speech, they are not thinking straight, the body is not stable, they go to diarrhea, they are shaken, some are crying aimlessly and you don't understand, because the body just got the trigger and it's hyper aroused. Some it's avoidance. I'm happy he got you.
Yeah, I'm
because
so happy.
some people will avoid even relationships. They're like, my parents' marriage was a mess. Why do I want to become another mess?
Right.
and they internalize that in their heads. And so they will not relate simply because of what they went through. Some people will start thinking negatively. Now, that is when depression sets in. Somebody was traumatized. The negative cognitions and emotions continue. And so they will be diagnosed either by the psychiatrists or psychologists like us with depression. And the unfortunate thing, if you went to Mathari National Mental Hospital, you might find majority of people who've been diagnosed with depression, they had traumatic issues from their childhood or teenage or even in their lives. And do you know why Jesus said, let these little ones come to me?
Yeah.
When you are healed, the inner child,
Yeah.
you become like a child, like you're just a little child, you make everybody feel attracted to you. They feel safe with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That's the way we felt with those children of 0 to 3 years. They don't know any harm.
Right.
They don't know any evil unless we teach them.
We introduce it to them.
We introduce it to them.
Right.
So even as an adult that is healed, no matter what is happening around you, that purity, that beauty should not go away, should not be killed. But the ones that are given that buffer from the time they are born
Right.
up to the age where you set Jeremy free at 14 years, nothing can break them into pieces. Nothing.
That's what I'm talking about.
So
Yes.
a message to all parents,
Wow.
be there.
Be there. Be there. And
Be
to
there.
men, before
there
you even
also.
decide to get married, be there. Come.
And deal with yourself
Deal
also.
with yourself.
And-
So that
and
you're
we will be
healed.
talking about all this.
Hey,
Such
Deep
that
Daughters of Zion
Oh,
Convention,
yes.
you can't miss it even if you tried. It's from the 27th of August to the 1st of September. We're going to deal with the inner man, because when you're healed, you will love your wife, you will love your children, you'll be able to take care of them. You will be the head.
discover your destiny also.
Exactly.
Your purpose-driven life
Exactly.
will have meaning if you have never found it. Because it's not about the job.
Yeah.
It's not about the way you feed people. It's not about the way you love other people. Are you living a purpose-driven life?
Life. What you are created for.
Oh, yes.
Are you living that?
That's
or are
it.
you just working 8 to 5 to pay rent?
Oh, yes.
Really?
That's
Daughters of Zion Convention. Do not miss it.
My dad has been the best father in the world. He's always been supportive, in everything. He's been the best mentor. He's the one who taught me how to read. He's the one who taught me that that your brain is more important than your fist. He taught me that even it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much money, friends, or it matters only about your family and the people that love you for real. That you can only make it in that life. And he taught me that, that love is more important than anything else in this world. And he's taught me so much that I can't even put it in words. Mom's always been the part of the spotlight, but then that's always been mom. But dad's always been the quiet person. That's why nobody always sees like the positive side that my dad has played. My dad has been my mentor, not just my pastor, but also my friend. He's one of the first people I would call if I ever had depression. He was one of the first people I would call, and I would call him. I called him first even before I called mom. I called dad first before I called mom, because dad has always been, he hits different. It's like, like dad said in church one time, he said 75% of the boys or the kids who go to church stay to salvation because of their fathers. Only 30% stay because of their mothers. But 75, so that the 75, the father plays such a big role, and the father plays such a big encouragement and a big, a big place. So to me, my dad's like my superhero. My dad's always been like Superman. He's always been the one and only like big guy I always look up to. He's the guy I want to be like. It's not even about the money, not about the fame or anything. He's knowledge. He's smart. He's clever. He's handsome. I mean, you can look at me and just see it, So it's not like, oh, But he's handsome. He's smart. He's knowledgeable. He has the brains. He's very and he always puts family first. before anything. He puts God and family. That's one of the most important things Dad has always taught me. So yeah, you know, Dad might not be talked about a lot, but then in the background, trust me, he really helped me to become not just Jeremy, but also a man, you know? So I appreciate you, Dad. I love you. So, yeah.
We want to ask you a few questions.
Yes,
So,
Dad.
yes, we want to ask a few questions before we close. And if you have a question even for Jeremy, for just flow, amen?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead.
My question goes to Madam Counselor. Okay, I have a question concerning a man that I know. He's almost like 38 years, if I'm not wrong. Okay, his mom committed suicide. And from the day that his mom committed suicide, he's never been himself. When you talk to him about anything to do with his life, anything to do with maybe something to do with marriage life, he always answers like, mind your own business, mind your own life. I know how I can take care of myself. As in, he has no friends. He cannot even, friends, like from the opposite sex. He has no friends, both opposite and the male friends. What can you do to help him?
Thank you very much. Whatever happened to the 38-year-old man was traumatic. You have your mom, and men are attached to their moms, and she dies by suicide. That is trauma. That is depression on the way. And what happens when we get into an experience that we did not expect? And it has a lot of distress. The brain, we have the left and the right side of the brain. The left side of the brain that men use more, the one that is rational, factual, logical, systematic. And like the right side of the brain that women use more with feelings, sensing, and perceiving is disoriented. So there's normally a brain impairment whenever you face a tragic incident like he did. And from that time, you may find him not rational, like he's 38, so you're expecting he should have a family, and that doesn't make sense because there's no reasoning like that one happening. And immediately, we do not know much. That's why we spend more time with clients about his childhood, how he grew up, what was happening to this mother who commits suicide, what was going on. And everybody who commits suicide in this world has actually depression, because depression is the one that puts you in a sense of hopelessness and helplessness. You don't see any solution. So the help for this person, if he's watching us, he needs to know if he's still alive and breathing. He can join us for the Congress. And I will actually give him one-on-one for free.
Wow.
And he has so much within himself that he needs to get out and move on with his life. Those are the stories that the world needs. You can see this amazing story. So I would want to let our fellow African men and women know that our stories, our inheritance,
Amen.
our heritage,
Amen.
our freedom, because he needs to trust somebody
Amen.
to share that story in an organized way. And the minute his brain balances, the reasoning will come back. He will start saying, oh, I'm 38. Oh, there are dreams I had before my mother died. Oh, I need to get back. And the woundedness, the healing. This is what we are going to deal with here. Give you a technique, a life skill that all of us can use every day, every minute, every second. So I would want to let you know that he's not pretending, even if he's 38.
Hey.
He is not pretending. Like people say, oh, this person sleeps a lot, doesn't get out to go to work, oh, he's lazy. There is no adult after the age of 10 years, 18 years, who would sleep the whole week and they are pretending.
Oh my God.
Something is not
Oh
right.
my goodness.
The loss of interest. And you realize with economic constraints, like in my country today, when you have other stressors, we call them other stressors. You have the inner stressors, and then there are other stressors. You're finished. And that is why we
Everything-
need to work with one another.
Right.
I look at you and I'm like, you already know him. Give him that smile anytime. Don't pressure him. And you might be the one to bring him here.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. Amen. You know what? He needs to be at the Daughters of Zion convention. You need to bring him for that healing.
Right.
You will thank God for the rest of your life that somebody was
You
healed.
saved a life and you
Yeah.
not be feeling guilty
Yeah.
like he did because he didn't know. Now you know
Yeah.
where help can come from.
Amen. Wow. Free counseling. That
yes.
isn't God amazing? Yeah. Yes. Another question?
I wanted to ask, what are the signs of depression, someone getting to depression, so that we are able to help? Yeah.
Thank you very much. The actual signs, and I'll again go like a teacher. We have the physical ones. Somebody who used to look smart no longer cares about how they look. Somebody who used to eat well, they have eating disruptions. The appetite is in disarray. We have somebody probably who used to, like if I am a student, if I am working, I no longer have the energy to work. I feel tired most of the time. And if it's the body, I can even start having pains that I cannot explain where they're coming from. The psychosomatic links to the mind and then goes to the body. So somebody is complaining of a stomachache, of headache, backache, or when you go to the hospital, they cannot trace where it's coming from. When we go to the cognitive or the thinking of this person is desperately negative. And it goes to a level whereby you're thinking about things that do not exist. In fact, you might find some of them hallucinating. They are having weird nightmares. They are having weird dreams, weird fantasies. And at the end of the day, you might have extreme cases of people losing their memory. You find somebody was going to work and they take a different direction. They have put on the gas cooker, but they forget and the house goes on fire. And you start questioning what's happening to me. So again, you have cognitive behavior that makes you feel you're not like the other people. And the minute you start questioning yourself and judging yourself as different from other people, you start sinking into depression deeper and deeper. We have people like, for example, in the church, and my heart really goes to the people in the church. Because when you don't understand what is happening in your body, you don't understand your thoughts, you start doubting your spiritual walk.
Right.
And the minute you doubt your spiritual walk, and it's the only resource
Yeah.
that is remaining, because if you are so broken, like the prophets we have known in the Bible, they reached a point that they said, let your will be done. Even Christ in the Garden of Gethsemane, he got to that level. It's like, why would I even die for these guys who are so hard-headed? Yeah, why is my father pushing me to die for them?
Yeah.
And he got to a level he was very desperate. But he accepted and said, let your will
Be done.
be done. So the people in the church, if they can just sit there, even when it's so dark, and say, God, let your will be done.
Done.
God's will can never
Amen.
destroy. God's will is
Amen.
not Satan's will.
Wow.
You will definitely find yourself getting a doorway. You may have some people in terms of relationships, they are easily irritable. So nobody wants to stay near them. They are highly cynical. Nobody wants to be near such a person. They are highly violent. Like you have a small trigger and you're fighting people, you're talking so negatively, and they're like, I can't get close to Susan. You know, I go to her, she is toxic. She is poison, even if she's born again. But that could be someone crying for help.
Wow.
We have just said a wounded person wants other people.
Come on.
And those are the people we are saying we're going to embrace them. We will embrace them, but I want to tell them if they're watching us, begin by accepting that something is not right with me.
Yeah.
The minute you get to that level healing starts knocking. And God will bring to you the right support, the right resource. But very many people are in denial.
Yeah.
That
They
is-
refuse.
they
Like the way I
refuse.
refused, I was in denial concerning Jeremy and the cerebral palsy. I was like, no, I can't even pronounce that name. It's no.
That's it.
But I accepted that this is the predicament and we need to face it and deal with it.
Yes.
And so when you accept it, you're able to face
That's it.
and deal with it. Because whatever you don't deal with, it's not going anywhere. No, it's actually getting bigger. If you don't deal with it, it's just going to regroup
That's it.
and come back stronger.
Yes.
So you need to deal with every symptom of depression.
And you're
You
actually
need to deal
giving
with
the
it.
devil a chance also. And we know very well
Yeah.
that the devil doesn't come to help us. Comes to
kill,
steal,
to steal,
kill,
and destroy. And so you know what?
Yeah.
I know we can't finish this in
Oh, yeah.
weeks.
That's why we have the convention.
I know. That's why we have the convention coming up. You need to register for the Daughters of Zion convention. It's going to be absolutely amazing and you're all welcome. Dr. Susan is going to be here herself.
Oh, yes.
And we're going to have other people who are going to talk to us about mental health. We have other people who are going to talk to us about your finances, like what's your relationship with money, because even that can destroy your entire life. By the way, do you know that they say the highest cause of divorce is money?
It's actually number one.
Number one.
Oh, yes.
Highest cause of divorce
number
is
one.
money. So you know what you need to do? Get yourself registered for the Daughters of Zion convention. We're going to be dealing with the inner person. We're going to deal with all these issues. And I believe that the Lord is going to bless you. Now, today you've heard the story of my son, Jeremy. I know that this is a story that's going to transform your life forever. If Jeremy can make it, has made it, is making it even farther, you better know that there is nothing too hard for you. There is nothing too hard for God. There is no impossibility with God. Jeremy is differently abled. You've seen he walks with a crutch, but let me tell you something. That doesn't make him any different from somebody else who's walking with their two legs. He is somebody that is called to change lives, to alter destinies, and so you need to never give up on yourself. It doesn't matter where you started from. You never need to give up on yourself. And Jeremy is about to rap for you just now. But I want you to know this is Woman Without Limits. We are so delighted you could tune in today. I believe that the Lord has blessed you. We can't finish even if we wanted. Even for the next month, we can't finish. That's why you need to register for the Daughters of Zion convention. This is Woman Without Limits. We're going to see you here next week. Same time, same channel. And guess what? We're going to continue with the same story because that's what's up. May God bless you. You have yourself the most amazing week, okay? And do not be depressed. Whatever you do, get out of that depression. It's never that serious.
I love that.
Until your mind changes, your life will never change.
Did you know that your thoughts hold the master key to the life that you desire? Just think about it. If you want to change your life, you must change the way you think. Did you also know that experience is not the best teacher, but wisdom is?
I am so excited to be bringing to you my latest book. I'm calling it Think on These Things.
In his new book, Bishop Allen has put together a collection of power thoughts, insights, perspectives, and practical applicable wisdom drawn from his exciting years of experience. Inside the book, you will find deep insights on the power of purpose, integrity, self-leadership, excellence, the power of the mind, among others.
Truth is a universal commodity. Wherever it is applied, it produces the same results.
Without